All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. The UWCL action continues this afternoon as we move into a London derby. It's Tottenham taking on Chelsea. It's the two sides, third and fifth in the division, or fourth and fifth now after Arsenal's win earlier. Two sides vying for Champions League qualification. Chelsea has been an off-season for the Blues, and last weekend's disaster away at Manchester City is one they'll want to quickly erase from the memories, and the easy way to do that would be a big victory today. As for Tottenham, well, their performances this season merit them in the UWCL conversations, but can they prove something today? Can they get one over Chelsea for the first time in their history? Should be a good game today, Harry. What are you expecting from the match?
Well, I'm expecting Chelsea to react from what has been a disaster of a couple of weeks. Massive pressure on Bompastor, on the team to deliver today, and it's not going to get any easier. A Tottenham side that, as you say, will back themselves to get the win here. They'll see that Chelsea are struggling at the moment and look to pounce. That top three race is really hotting up, and with both United and Arsenal claiming victories already this weekend, it is on one of these two sides to go out and get the result as well to match. So yeah, massive pressure on both sides today, but especially Chelsea. The fans, and I think everybody around the world, is expecting a reaction from the Blues. They need to pick it up today. There is no excuse today. They have to get it right. If not, they can find themselves on the back foot going into the last few games of the season as the Champions League places look to run away from them. But massive pressure on Chelsea today. They've got to get it right. They've got to find a way to bounce back. For Tottenham, they'll look to take advantage of Chelsea, who are struggling at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's take a look at the lineups because we haven't got long until kick-off today. For some bizarre reason, we kick off at 2:25. But there we go. So not as long in terms of build-up, but we can get into the lineups now. We are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so we'll start with the Spurs side. It's a 4-2-3-1 today for Tottenham. In goal, Lisa Kopp. A back four of... I'm trying to piece together because football's put it all over the place. Hannah Veek with her first start. Koga and Hunt with Blackstad then at left back. Amanda Nilden also on the pitch. I think it's Blackstad higher up. Nilden at left back. Midfield then of Gaupset and Summonen. Blackstad in the 10. Holt on one wing. Vinberg on the other. England leading the line. Trying to piece that together because Fotmop has put Veek in midfield with Summonen and Blackstad at right back. I think it'll be Blackstad in midfield. Gaupset slightly higher, Nilden on the wing potentially. We'll see what they choose to do in this game. Blackstad potentially on the wing. We'll see what they do. But Tottenham with a decent lineup. Lots of new faces though. How do they integrate those? And more importantly, how do they cope without Drew Spence in that midfield?
Well, exactly that. That Drew Spence red card at the end of the West Ham game is what has left us guessing with the lineup and wondering who's playing where, because we haven't seen her. We haven't seen Tottenham without Drew Spence this season. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they get on in that midfield. They've got to try and dictate the tempo. Whoever replaces Spence needs to get on the ball, look calm, look composed, and play the way that Spence would. Spence plays with just a calm nature about her, and she's very good at just keeping the ball ticking over. That's what Tottenham might miss today. It'll be interesting to see. But overall, it's a very, very good Tottenham side, full of quality. If it can click today, it can cause Chelsea problems, but you do feel they are still adjusting to all the new incomings in January. But yeah, it's a Tottenham side that on paper is high quality.
Indeed. As for Chelsea, well, it looks like the mirror of what they started with in the game against Manchester City in terms of formation. In goal, it's Hannah Hampton, a back four of Carpenter at right back, Brighton Gurma the centre halves with Villa Berman at left back. A midfield three then of Nusken, Cuthbert and Kira Walsh. Walsh like the deeper of the three with Cuthbert and Nusken then as the midfield options. Probably Cuthbert pushing higher. Then we've got James in that sort of false nine role with Connery and Thompson as the wide players. Is my best guess of what Chelsea are doing today. Harry, what do you make of this Chelsea lineup? It's very difficult to say what they're going to do. No recognised striker. So you'd expect a lot of fluidity in that front line. But it's not something we've seen much this season.
Yeah, exactly that. It'll be interesting how Chelsea do cope. But at the end of the day, when things are going wrong, you've got to make changes. You've got to mix things up a little bit. And that's exactly what Sonia Bompastor is going to do today. You'd expect. I think that it's an interesting shift. I don't mind it. I'm intrigued to see how the back four gets on again, because I thought they struggled against City. But I think you can say that about everything in that City game, is that everyone struggled. There was nothing good about it. So I could easily sit here and say, well, I doubt this, because it all went wrong against City, but everything went wrong. So All Chelsea across the board. Chelsea have to bounce back in style. We know they've still got the quality of champions. We know how good a coach Tony Bompastor is. There's a reason she signed an extended contract through to 2030 in the midweek. The club believe in Bompastor to get the job done. She is still the right coach for the job, and it's about proving that today with Chelsea. If they come out today and play this Tottenham side off the park, which Tottenham have been a little bit hit and miss recently, but overall been a really, really good side this season. That's what Chelsea need today. They need to get a good win behind them. They need a win, primarily, yes, but it's a good win. Chelsea could turn up today and win a scrappy, close, edgy 1-0 victory. Yes, it's 3 points, but that's not going to instill any confidence from anybody. Chelsea need a good win today. They need to outclass Tottenham and play their football, play the football that won Chelsea three trophies last season. They've got it in them, but it's about delivering. It's a big test of the mentality today for Chelsea to see who can respond, who can bounce back from the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. A few questions in the live chat. Jerry's saying, Chelsea without a recognised striker, what is going on? I think the idea today will be that Tottenham are going to sit very deep. And so by dropping players out of that position, they'll try and draw the centre halves out and create space. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think it could be one of those where if that doesn't work, Chelsea will look to get Sam Kerr on there in the second half to be a presence in the box. What we saw in the last game against Tottenham was that they just sat in their own penalty area. And Chelsea very much struggled to break them down. It took a strike from Keira Walsh on the edge of the box that broke the deadlock. But outside of that, they couldn't break Tottenham down. Today will be different. This is not a Kings Meadow. This is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea could exploit that space today. They can stretch the Tottenham backline, create space then to exploit. I think that can make a big difference. The two captains, obviously very familiar, Brighton, England there, exchanging pleasantries before kickoff here. A few questions. MZ saying, I like the lineup. That's good to see. A lot of people moaning mostly about the lineups in recent weeks. Zeta saying, surprised Berman starts after she was subbed off at the half last game. I don't think that substitution was indicative of her poor performance. Chelsea just really went for the game. They put Baltimore to left back and they pushed both their fullbacks way too high, and that left a lot of space for City to attack into. It was a poor decision, but Chelsea took the punt, took the risk, and tried to make something happen there. It didn't work out. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Chelsea do today. But it is going to be a back four. If it's going to be something like Carnreed at left wing back, we really don't know at this stage. So we'll see what happens there. Both sets of players, though, out on the field. So let's get into predictions ahead of this one. If you're watching along to the live show, get involved in the live chat. Let us know your scoreline prediction. We're going to start here in the studio, though, and we'll start with yourself. Harry, what is your prediction for this game?
Oh, I think it'll be a close one between two, top sides on their day. But I do think Chelsea will bounce back. I think they'll respond in style to that, to what has been a really turbulent period for them. But yeah, I think that it will be good from Chelsea today. I think Tottenham will test them. Tottenham will push them all the way, but Chelsea will come out on top. I will say Tottenham 0, Chelsea 2. And although it won't be loads of goals, I think it'll be a convincing performance from Chelsea. I will say Lauren James in the first half and a goal from Thompson in the second half. 2 goals for Chelsea and a much needed win for the Blues.
Yeah, I think this will be fairly comprehensive. I think Chelsea will have the bit between their teeth. I think they'll want to get a big win today. I'm going to say Tottenham 0, Chelsea 4. I think it's easy to look at the last few games and say that Chelsea will struggle, but I think it will be a motivator for them. And outside of those last 2 matches, their form since the turn of the year has been fairly strong. This is an opponent they should be looking to be quite dominant against, and I think the return to a more familiar formation today, especially with obviously it's sort of what they used last season, but the opposite side. Obviously, last season we saw Bronze tucking in and Baltimore pushing high. This week, Berman tucking in, Carpenter pushing high. It'll be interesting what Chelsea look like. But if they play like they did last season, which this formation looks much more akin to, I think Chelsea will be very good today. I'm going to say Lauren James to thrive and score a brace. I think Alyssa Thompson will get a goal as well. And I'll say Erin Cuthbert to round it off. Chelsea to win 4-0. Few predictions in the live chat. Brainy saying 2-1 Chelsea. Phil going 5-1 Chelsea. That's incredible, Phil. I never thought you'd predict a Chelsea win, but there we go. Locus going 2-0 Chelsea. Alex says Martin Ho 2, Sonia 1. don't think that's a scoreline, but maybe if they're playing some sort of game on the sideline, Martin Ho will win. But yeah, we'll see what happens in today's game. The poll in chat, 73% backing the Blues away from home, 18% backing Tottenham, and 8% going for a draw. We're about to get underway here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The two captains exchanging emblems ahead, or exchanging handshakes ahead of kickoff. It's going to be an interesting one today. Chelsea need to step it up, don't they?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think that it goes across the whole team because it's the players that, the key players that need to step up and deliver. You mentioned it with Lauren James. If she can take this game by the scruff of the neck, then she can change the game for Chelsea. The big players need to step up and make the difference, but the players who have also struggled need to react. Baltimore benched, I think that's fair. Naomi Girma today massively needs a good game. Yeah. Chelsea need to react today. What a chance to do it away at their rivals.
Well, Beth England then from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle in this game to get us started at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham versus Chelsea. England knocking it back are underway here for the last game of this UWCL game week. Can Chelsea get back to winning ways, or will Tottenham find their first win against the Blues? Well, it's Tottenham on the ball early on here. Hannah Veek plays it forward, picked on well by Beth England, but Hannah Reid back in to receive it. Definitely looks like Lauren James through the middle early on today. It makes sense. Both the wingers, then Thompson and Carnereid into their sort of natural positions. Be interesting to see how Chelsea look, but they are moving the ball around the back now. Bright across to Naomi Girma. And she goes back into Hannah Hampson. I like the fact as well that Bright is left centre-back because you'd expect Berman to be a little bit more defensive, and so that should cover her a little better. You'd expect as well there'll be moments where she slots into a sort of central centre-back position. Hampton now lifting it to the left-hand side, and Berman will get there under pressure immediately from Matilda Vinberg, but she knocks it out of play, and that is a Chelsea throw-in. Craig Tremors mentioning Madonna is there watching the game. Yes, I saw this in the week. Madonna's, both her daughters play for Tottenham, which is incredible and means that Tottenham women have a huge celebrity fan in the stands today. Carpenter robbed the possession there. Here is Olivia Holt, who will be forced backwards. And then plays it inside. Here's Sinja Gaupset. Out towards the right-hand side. Here's Hannah Veek making her first start for Tottenham. Plays it inside. Possession now picked up on by Gaupset. That's a fantastic tackle there from the recovering Berman. Bright puts Walsh under pressure and manages to squeeze it back to Hannah Hampton. There is a foul in there as Yuli Blackstad a little too aggressive in her attempt to win back the ball.
Yeah, so there's an intent here, isn't there, with Tottenham? There's pace to their game because they know that they could take advantage of Chelsea. If they can get on top early, get an early goal, and then look to be all over the reigning champions, and Chelsea could falter once again. They're testing Chelsea's mentality very early doors, Tottenham, which is exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, Phil says it looks like COVID again using this stadium is ridiculous for the optics. The problem is as well, you've got all the fans on the near side. So it looks really bad. Like the attendance, I mean, it's still not incredible. And the fact it's a 70,000 seat stadium makes it look even worse. But it makes it look a lot worse that you can't see any of them. That's brilliant from James there to pull a little bit of space. Carpenter now on the right-hand side. Looks to play the cross. Summonen gets out to her though. Carpenter back into Cuthbert. Wants to take on Yuli Blackstad. Ball into the box. Cleared away well by Claire Hunt. Carpenter picks up on the loose ball. Wants to take on Summonen, but Summonen pokes it out of play. And now will go down. Looks like she may have just hurt herself in the process. Catching Carpenter on the way through. Yeah, I think there as she pokes it out of play, just kicks up into Carpenter's raised studs. And a throw in now for Ellie Carpenter. Looking for Lauren James, who can't win the aerial contest against Hunt, but it does drop on the edge now for James. Lifts it over to Filler. Berman in a great position, blocked by the rear end there of Toko Koga. And that was a great ball from James. Berman unable to generate the power. Berman gets around Hannah Veek well. Ball towards the back post. Headed away by Nilden. I'm not sure why Chelsea are crossing everything. They don't have a striker on the pitch. They don't have any height in there. I'm not sure why everything is a cross, but we'll see what happens. Walsh splitting the centre-backs. Here's Girma. And I wonder if this is something we'll see more from Chelsea then. Two more attacking full-backs. Walsh to split the centre-backs rather than using a situational back three. Girma carries it forward. More of a traditional midfield structure. Cuthbert Wide into Carpenter. Knocks it down the line. Here's Carnereed. And that's an overhit ball in. Looking for Berman, who heads down. Thompson tries to get there. Cleared away by Hunt. James recycles. Berman back into Millie Bright, who lifts it out to the right-hand side. Carnereed now. Can't quite keep it under her control, and it's a Tottenham ball. Germer on hand, though, to win it off Nildon. Now Carnereed into Carpenter. Should be along the floor. This delivery is. James won't get there. Back post for Thompson. Can't quite sort out her feet. And it's knocked back to the goalkeeper.
Really good start from Chelsea. Lovely football down the right-hand side between Carpenter. Gets it to Carnereed, gets it to Carpenter. And the ball is well drilled. And she'll be frustrated that no one managed to get on the end of that. But really positive start from Chelsea. They're getting the ball down and playing some nice stuff.
Phil says, why not put Kerr up top if you're just bombing crosses? I imagine, as we saw there, the idea would be low crosses rather than to put them all in the air. Holt carries it forwards, feeds it through to England, who makes a great run. Hampton, good goalkeeping. Chance now, and a big block from Germer. And Nildon had a great opportunity, but Chelsea undone too easily there by Tottenham, who managed to create a chance in the central area. Brilliant from Olivia Holt, denied by Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, again, too easy there for Holt just to drive through the team and run at the Chelsea backline. No one engages with her. Plays it through to England. It's a little bit overhit, but I don't mind that. A good piece of goalkeeping from Hampton to beat the England striker to it.
But summoning over this.
Yeah, Chelsea got to be careful. Holt is a magical player. If you allow her to have drives like that, she's going to cause you all sorts of problems.
So, Evelina Summonen, who can she pick out in the box? Not happy here, the officials, with the placement of the ball. None of it touching the white segment, but it is over the white line, so it is legal. Summonen in towards the front post, headed clear. And James then nods it on, and Thompson will try and get there. A shot from range from Hannah Veek. And what a moment that would have been on her debut. Instead, something more akin to fans of rugby, as it's launched into the stands.
Yeah, high and wide, that one. But a good start by both, which is exactly what we expect in this game. You know, this is a match between two sides that are pushing for the top three. And both sides started relatively positively here.
Germer carries to the right-hand side. Carpenter into Erin Cuthbert. She's forced backwards into Hampton. And she drills it out to the left-hand side. Kept in play by Berman. One back, though, by Wimberg. Now to Koga. Plays it through the lines into Gautset. And she knocks it to the left-hand side. Yuli Blackstad now plays it across the box. Germer gets in front of it. And Chelsea trying to drive it out. One high again, though. Blackstad cut back to Holt. And that's a great effort from Holt. Saved well, though, by Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton reads it well. Again, Ellie Carpenter not really sure what she's trying to do there and doesn't convincingly deal with it on the edge of the penalty area. And yeah, just a messy one from Carpenter. And that's another time that Olivia Holt's been able to pick the ball up in a dangerous area and have a go at goal.
Yeah, so Millie Bright carrying the ball forwards now. Back across to the right-hand side. Here's Germer. Looking for a forward option. The same problem's happening here as what happened at City. In that if you're going to drop Walsh between the two centre-backs, why on earth are Cuthbert and Nuskin so high?
Yeah.
Way too high up the pitch. Berman. Now James. You've got to offer options there. Walsh. Thompson plays it back into Bright, who switches the play well. That's a great pass from Bright. Cuthbert can't quite take it in her stride. Does chest it down. Now Cuthbert knocks it back wide into Ellie Carpenter. Tries to put the ball into the box. Blocked well, though, by Nildon and steered clear. Holt wants to take on Germer. Great defending from Germer initially, but Holt then managing to get the bounce off of her effectively, and Germer brings her down. And that will be a Tottenham free kick.
Yeah, Holt's the spark, isn't she? She's the spark in every Tottenham game, but at the moment is finding it too easy to just pick the ball up, drift around and cause problems again. Skipping past a couple of players, German then brings her down. Olivia Holt is the threat to Chelsea today. I mean, we knew that going into the game, but in these opening affairs, she's the one picking up the ball. She's the one causing problems. And that is something Chelsea cannot allow her to do, because if she continues to have as much joy driving and roaming around the pitch, then she will hurt Chelsea at some point.
Gaupset receives from the keeper. Now Nilden. Blackstad, Summoning down the line. And Guerrero to pick up on the ball. As we approach the 10th minute, deadlock remaining intact. Chelsea the side with the most goals in the opening 10 minutes of any side in the league this season. Unable, though, to find an early strike in this game. Bright carrying the ball forwards. Now Nusken, who's peeled wide, goes to Berman, who makes the overlapping run. Looking for the cutback. Outset, though, able to block it, and that's out for a throw-in. And so Berman takes the throw. Nusken. Back to Berman. Here's Alyssa Thompson. Bright. Now Naomi Girma. Back to Bright, who can fizz it wide again and will do. Berman. Here's Thompson. Lively exchange with Nusken. Has to go back, though, to Walsh. Berman. And Millie Bright. Switching the play. Here's Girma. Carnereed. Lovely exchange with Carpenter. Comes off Carnereed. Drops in midfield. Vinberg, England. Gaupset looking wide. Plays it into Holt. This is a great breakaway from Tottenham. They've got a numerical advantage. Holt driving inside. Takes aim. Olivia Holt and strikes the crossbar. And Chelsea undone on the counter charge there. Couldn't penetrate. Tottenham pick it off. Holt drives it here. A good 50, 60 yards onto the edge of the Chelsea box. And that's not a bad strike. Coming off the crossbar.
Again, brilliant from Holt. Running the show at the moment. Picks the ball up. Was it given inside to Gaupset? And Bright steps up to win it and didn't get there. And Gaupset released Holt. And once Holt was gone, she was never looking back. And yet, just skimming off the top of the bar there. Warning to Chelsea.
Girma carrying the ball forwards. Wide now to Carpenter. Tries to knock it in behind. And Nilden will get there. And it's back to Lisa Kopp. She's looking for an option. Out now to the left-hand side. To the right-hand side, sorry. Koga. Vinberg, he drops into the pocket. Berman is aggressive and steps over the line. Simonon across to Koga. Nigel says, I don't know who I want to win, but I imagine Chelsea will. I just can't believe how shocking that ref was at the Emirates. Not that she was the reason that we lost, but my word. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that more on Monday's show, but particularly poor refereeing performance. And, well, had an almost direct impact on the result. But yeah, City were still poor outside of that. Berman. Goes back to Bright. And Chelsea just struggling to play through Tottenham at the moment.
I mean, you look at this shot here. There's such a disconnect. Girma, Walsh, Bright and Hampton, it's like they're playing a different game to the rest of the Chelsea team, because the rest of the Chelsea team, they've just gone up.
And the midfield are deeper now, but you've got James dropping in because Nusken's gone up front. I don't see the point in that. Bright into James. Switches the play here into Girma. Carpenter. Now Carnereed. Girma. Changes with Walsh. Back inside now into Cuthbert. And here's Bright looking to the left-hand side. Thompson drops in there to receive. Bright thinks better of it and carries on her run. Berman into Nusken. Walsh. Clipping it in behind. And here's Carnereed. Takes a good touch. Turns. Can't quite poke it goalwards. That a much better move from Chelsea there. Drawing it to the left-hand side. Creating the space on the right. A great ball from Kira Walsh. And Carnereed just can't quite sort her feet out in time. Should do better here, Carnegie.
Has to score. Carnegie. The run is brilliantly timed. The movement, again, is phenomenal. It's all the things we say all the time about Reeting Carnegie. But the finish, once again, lacks. Has to bury it. Just got in a muddle. And by that point, Kopp was already on her.
Koga playing it on in behind. England makes the run off the shoulder. Germa stays with her now. Support emerging, though, on the edge of the area. Vinberg takes aim. That's blocked. And a comfortable claim for Hannah Hampton.
I mean, where are Chelsea? In those transitions, once again. Holt was the one arriving on the edge of the area with not a blue shirt around her.
This is the problem when you move away from a situational back three to having two fullbacks who are really high. Is you are vulnerable, so vulnerable in transitions, especially to a Tottenham side who are very good on the break. Hampton drilling it forwards, and Thompson will give chase, but Koga shielding it back to Kopp without issue. But yeah, Carnery's got to score.
Yeah,
got to hit it with their right foot, and then we look at this as Chelsea having a successful first 15 minutes, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? But doesn't actually take a shot really.
Yeah, one of those.
1-1 here, hard the pitch by Chelsea. Nuskin tries there to reverse it into Lauren James, but it was a difficult pass to pull off, and it's over here.
Yeah, I said the same thing about City earlier when they were struggling, but that there with Nuskin, you're a side, Chelsea have started okay here, but Tottenham are really in this game. You're up against it, you're in a difficult patch, so just get the basics right. Trying to play a reverse through ball, that you're going to have to try and get perfect. It's just not the right play.
I don't mind it in that position. There wasn't really anything else on because Chelsea won it high and there wasn't any. She didn't have another passing option. Blackstad into England, takes aim. It's blocked. England knocks it wide. It's not a great pass. Veek will keep this move alive. Goes back now to Summonen, who swings it in there. Nilden heads it across, and that's nodded away by Cuthbert. Now Gaupset. Back to Holt. Gaupset takes aim from range. That's blocked wide, and it trickles towards the line, and Hampton will go out to collect it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Is it a bit? Does it feel a bit timid from Chelsea? Is it? Everyone just feels like they're walking on eggshells.
I think it doesn't feel timid. It feels over aggressive to me in terms of the actual structure.
Oh yeah, no, just the players, the way everyone's moving, it's quite slow. It's like no one wants to put a foot wrong or to step up or make a mistake.
I think there's a lot of negativity in the camp. I think we saw that second half against City, heads dropped. People stopped playing for the badge. People stopped playing for the manager. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second half this season. Obviously, this week we're seeing loads of reports emerging of upset about certain comments and certain and clicks in the dressing room. It's the same sort of thing you get whenever a team is struggling, right? But I think it is something that's been a problem at Chelsea this season. Is you have got Emma Hayes. You had one core group of players that stayed the whole time, and anyone that came in, you either join that core group or you're an outsider. So you join that core group. The problem you've got now is that you've got, there's some players in the dressing room with 2 decades almost between them. And of course that's going to have an impact on the group as a whole. It does feel like there's a lot of factions. There's pre-Bompastor players and there's post-Bompastor players, or players she's recruited.
Yeah.
There's so many different ages. It just feels like a group that is very much individuals. I don't think the Chelsea team. It doesn't help at the moment that Chelsea are experimenting a lot with their system, and I think it's weird because it worked the first half of the season. The difference was Chelsea didn't take their chances. Now Chelsea are trying to introduce different concepts, which is not really. Like today, Chelsea just look open on the counter. They've got away with it so far, but they just look really open in transition. Here's James. That's a great ball into the right sort of area, and it bounces through. Can't be able to see it wide, though. No one getting on the end of it.
It's another great ball if there's a striker on the pitch. They're the kind of mixed signals I don't understand from Chelsea. Is that we're seeing games where Chelsea have had a number 9, had a main striker and not used her, But then in games like this, where there isn't a recognised number 9 on the pitch, we're seeing some beautiful crosses be delivered. And yeah, I think that, as you say, like that problem with being out on the counter, it's something we can see happening. We've seen happen in the first 19 minutes. So I can't wait for it to catch Chelsea out in the 60th minute.
Yale says, that's why I don't understand then. Bright gets sleepless and she can't control. She's older, of course. She's lost pace, but the team's set up to support her. Well, this is the difficulty is that the first half of the season, Chelsea used the 3-back to support her. Play her in that central centre-back role, make it easier for her defensively. And the fans moaned about that. So Chelsea moved back to a 4-back and Bright is exposed, and the fans moan about that. It's you can't keep everyone happy. I think at the moment, Bompastor's trying to juggle too many different ideas and nothing's really working. Outset intercepted well by Carnareed, and there's just a miscommunication there between Cuthbert and Walsh, and Goutset wins back the ball. Here is Olivia Holt, shifts it wide to Nildern, ball across the box, cleared by Germa. Goutset in a good position, blocks. It's a cluster. Can Goutset turn it home? Blocked again by Nuskin. But Chelsea are all over the place to start this game. It's not been the response that we would have wanted to see. 7 shots from Tottenham in the opening 20 minutes. Maybe more after this exchange. There was about 3 shots in there.
It's the box defending again. I mean, we've got the corner now, but so many issues wrong with defending their own penalty area there, Chelsea. I mean, Germa was at the near post and turned it towards the penalty spot. And then, Berman takes it off the hands of Hampton. Messy.
Ball swung in. Berman wins the header. And James nodding it away. Holt puts it back in there. That's a fantastic ball and a header over the bar. And I think that she'd want that one back, Yuli Blackstad.
Yeah.
Met it well, but heads it over.
That is absolutely on the money from Holt. That is such a good ball in. And I think she's got caught in 2 minds there, Blackstad, whether to head it back across goal or whether to go for goal herself. And just got mixed up and headed it over.
Hampton. Walsh. Into Bright. Now back to Hampton. Touching Everton.
Yeah.
There's no option.
There's no one.
I don't know why the fullbacks are so high. I don't know why the midfield is so high.
You've got that whole camera shot and there are 2 Chelsea outfielders in the whole shot.
Nuskin drops in to receive. Hampton again. Looking to launch it long. And Cuthbert can't quite get the head on. Now Hunt goes back home. Carno to put pressure on the ball. Kopp clears it away though. Carpenter wins the resulting header. Here's Cuthbert. Bright. Into Nuskin. Back wide into Carpenter. Cuthbert. Cuthbert inside to Germa. Goes back now to Hannah Hampton. Feeds it into James, who can't keep it under control. And now here comes Tottenham. England. Into Olivia Holt. He looks so dangerous already. Runs across Carpenter. Carpenter makes a good challenge. England. Wide now into Yuli Blackstad. Needs support. Has Nildon behind her. Goutset. Inside to Simonen. Back towards Goutset. Pokes it wide into the overlapping Hannah Veek. Wimberg lifts it towards the back post. Blackstad header on target. A tame effort though, saved by Hannah Hampton.
Again, really nice football from Tottenham. Goutset the one, picking it up in deep, spreading it out wide, moving it nicely. And it's another move that looks nice but doesn't come to anything. But, they've got Chelsea camped in. Every time Tottenham turn the ball over, they've got Chelsea exactly where they want them.
This build-up is abysmal. Berman here can't keep it in play as it's a lofted ball out to the left-hand side. Koga. Back now to Kopp. Now Koga. Alex says Martin Ho transformed Holt into Bon Mati. He just played Holt. She was always this good. Robert Villan, for some bizarre reason, they decided that Putting Martha Thomas on the pitch at right wing or wherever else you want to put everyone, was a better idea than playing Olivia Holt. Cop into Koga. Back now into Simonon. There's no pressure on Tottenham at all. I love James, but why are you putting her up front to do high press? Ball in behind. England get there, and Hampton spills, but Germa able to pick up the pieces. England there just forcing the mistake with the movement.
You know what it feels like? This feels like a first game of the season or a game of pre-season. Chelsea, they don't look match sharp.
Well, it looks like a team who are trying something new again. Hampton into James, who receives it well. Now out to the left-hand side. Thompson. James. Wide now to Germa. Charles. Cuthbert, sorry. I was thinking about Charles because I was wondering why you wouldn't use a natural left back in this format. Why would you switch to a 4-back where you don't have a left back? And if you were going to play a left back super high, why would you not use Baltimore? Carpenter now keeps it in play.
Because yes, Baltimore was poor against both Arsenal and City, but so was Ellie Carpenter. So
Hampton drills it out well to the left-hand side. Thompson wants to take on Koga. Veek across to support. Thompson isolated out there. Plays it inside now to James, who offers support. Who wants to take on Gautset. Great ball from Lauren James, looking for Kana Reid. It's slightly overhit, though. No movement in the penalty area.
Yeah.
It's classic, a manager overthinking it, under scrutiny, trying to do something completely different, but it's just so open. It looks like a team who don't believe in what they're doing. Yeah, I think a lot of players. The problem is there's so many players. Now, there was a Guardian article earlier this week, and while a lot of it I take with a pinch of salt because it comes out at, obviously a difficult time, there was a comment that said sources suggested many Chelsea players knew they weren't going to be here next season. And I do think that's having an impact.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of players. I mean, we're seeing Macario dropped out of the team after she's made it quite clear she has no interest in renewing. But we know Chelsea will want to move a lot of people on. But, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think there's so many players who know they're moving on have just given up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not because even you have those players that even not in the sense of giving up, but they know that they'll try a bit, but they know that the result isn't really going to impact them. If Chelsea haven't got a Champions League football next season, it doesn't matter to them because they won't be here.
Nildum looking to switch the play. Here's Veek. Wimberg. I think that Chelsea look like they've got 2 less players on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like there is, we talk about it's a lot of easy to say, Chelsea midfield is completely open, and it is, but Chelsea's width is getting done. It's just Holt into Blackstad. Cuts it back for England, who misses.
Wow.
And that should be 1-0 Tottenham. They've had a lot of chances. Nothing quite as clear-cut as that, though. England unable to put that one on target.
I think Martin Ho will really be wondering how his side haven't taken the lead here. Again, brilliant from Blackstad. Brilliant feat to shift it and knock it past Kana Reid. Lovely little shift between her left and her right foot. And then Beth England, the poacher that she is, really should have found the back of the net with that one. But it feels like there are issues that we can all sit here and see happening. But Chelsea at the moment look to be just sleepwalking into going behind soon.
Koga able to win that off Thompson. Now Simonon. Wimberg, great hold up. Back now to Veek, who knocks it down the line, and England there went too early. Yeah, says even when we were unbeaten, we weren't playing well. Strong disagree, but we'll continue. It was individual brilliance a lot of the time, not our tactics. I find this amusing because the same people who claim that Chelsea were terrible last season. There was no tactics. And the Chelsea and the Bompastor was over reliant on individual quality, is their claim. They love Emma Hayes, who was always always reliant on individual quality. It's why Chelsea are the one in Europe, because they weren't a tactically brilliant team, but they had the players that were good enough to get through games. And Hayes was a fantastic player manager in sort of man management aspects of it. Here is Carnareed. Manager's there to beat Blackstad. Ball in, just high again, and James makes contact with it just about. But it's an easy claim for Cop.
Yeah, it feels like both sides are having the same amount of opportunities to come forward, but it's just that final ball for Chelsea is lacking, whereas Tottenham are getting it right and getting efforts on, getting efforts on target.
Yeah, upset. Yeah, Tottenham had a lot of chances. They've broken on Chelsea a lot. They have struggled to test the goalkeeper as much as they should have. I think that's been their problem so far, but they are getting shots away. Here's Bright. Out to Villa Vernon. Thompson. Can't keep that one in play as she's pressed well by Tottenham into making a mistake. Here's Cop. No pressure on this Tottenham backline whatsoever.
It's incredible. Again, there was there's no Chelsea players in sight. As Cop can just casually knock it into Hunt, who can knock it into Nilden, and no one's there.
You compare that to when Chelsea are trying to build up, and there's no Chelsea players in sight either.
Yeah,
and it's just Tottenham pressing.
And then imagine, where are the Chelsea players? They all stood in a line of 11 in the middle of the pitch.
Here's Germer. Hampton. Now into Berman. Finds James, who drops to receive. Lovely work there from James, who's able to wriggle out of that space. Thompson now. No support. Koga forces her backwards. Berman. Germer. Into Bright. Looks like a slight adjustment now. The left centre back is Berman's tack into sort of a left centre back role. This makes a lot more sense. This is exactly how I thought Chelsea would play today with the players available. Germer are now to pull off that pass. A fantastic interception from Olivia Holt. Here's England. Goes back now into Hunt. Get set.
Chelsea at some point say are going to have to put Tottenham under a bit of pressure.
There's no intensity off the ball. Absolutely zero intensity. Hanavik coming forwards. Ball into the box. Bright gets a touch. Chance now though for Blackstad. Blocked well by Germer. And Carpenter getting it clear, but Thompson won't be able to keep that one in touch.
So flat. It's so flat from Chelsea across the board there. From the press, and then it's the reaction when Tottenham do turn it on them. You don't see players busting a gut to get back. You don't see players throwing themselves in front of the ball. Just feels like no one in a Chelsea shirt at the moment is working hard enough.
Cuthbert. Now Nuskin. Looks to play it in behind, and James now can't quite get there as Hunt gets in front of it. James trying to take it around Claire Hunt. Out for a Chelsea throw as Hunt knocks it out of play.
That's great defending. Really good defending from Hunt. Better from Chelsea, though. Cuthbert, bit of intensity and won the ball back. That's how simple it is. Played, worked nicely. Nuskin got the way to pass right into James, who, put the effort into run onto it.
Carpenter into Carnareed. Coming forwards now, Ellie Carpenter. That's an overhit cross. Massively overhit cross. Berman does well to keep this in touch. Now Bright. Standing on the ball. Back to Germer. Carpenter. Now Walsh. Nowhere to go. Turns out, finds Cuthbert back to Walsh. And Germer. Across to Bright. James shrugs off Hunt well. Now Bright. Thompson. Berman. James. Carries it forwards now. Lauren James draws the foul. Feeds it into Nuskin and a free kick awarded there as Simonen catches Lauren James.
Better. So much better. Chelsea just much closer together. Moving the ball much nicer. And Lauren James is a lovely dart through bodies and gets tripped by the first one. Exactly what Chelsea need to start doing. Just get the ball down and move it. Get it into Lauren James, who's going to shift it, going to make things happen. Just getting the basics right and playing to their strengths, which is, one of them, the main one, is get them on Lauren James. That's quite a good one. But just, better from Chelsea. Last few minutes, a much better reaction. Since Berman started tucking in rather than bombing on, that shift has happened. It's been better.
Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't what the intention was from the start. You bait the press better, you create more space. By pushing Berman higher, all you do is make it very difficult for centre-backs to actually play and create a lot of disconnect. Ball in towards the back post. Overhit from Erin Cuthbert. And that could have been dangerous. Players queuing up there. It's a really poor ball from Cuthbert.
Yeah, final ball now. It is what needs work. But Chelsea are getting there. The football in the last 5 minutes has been better. But, if Carpenter hadn't overhit the cross and Cuthbert doesn't overhit that free kick, you get 2 opportunities out of that kind of play.
Lucky says, why didn't Chelsea sign players in January? It's difficult to sign players in January when you've got so many players leaving in the summer. Like, with so many undetermined contracts, you could end up with 1 striker or 3. So how do you can't sign a striker in January. Centre-back, similar story. Bright there, able to get across and just physical with Wimberg. Right side of the line, though, it's a good tackle. Wingers are the same, it could end up with Carnreid and Brighton. I imagine at least one of them will leave, probably Guro. Or, you could end up with neither or both. So, you can't do much in a January, especially when the market's quite static. Without a major tournament that players need minutes for in the summer. James there receives the ball well and brought down. She's got more space now, Lauren James, to actually do stuff. Now that the midfield is dropping a little bit deeper and Berman's sitting a little deeper.
And she's doing enough to get Chelsea up the pitch. Winning free kicks, turning the ball, just picking up the ball and bringing it up 10 yards. It makes a difference. That's exactly what Lauren James does. Is even when she's not doing the magical things or the brilliant finishes and incredible assists, just makes things tick over a little bit.
I agree with a lot of people in chat saying it looks like Chelsea have mentally checked out. I think the difficulty is Chelsea are out of the title race the first time in forever since that 18-19 season. And there will be a lot of players out there who go, we can't win the title, so what's the point? I'm not going to be here next year. I'm not going to get jumped. No, I don't care if we're in Champions League or not. Must be a lot of players who go, well, even if we aren't in the Champions League next season, maybe for the players out there, maybe it's not the worst thing. It just impacts massively on Chelsea's recruitment.
Yeah.
You would expect.
Oh, yeah.
And it would reflect poorly on Bompastor and a favour with the board.
I have to say, it's one of those things where I think, in hindsight, obviously, of course, at the time, Chelsea wouldn't have said it, but right now, I think it would be nice if Chelsea had the Champions League knockout playoff round against an easier opposition. But because if Chelsea had 2 legs where they were favourites, but just a bit of a wake-up call to everybody about what's still at stake here.
Yeah. Ball out of play from Cup. I think there's a part of that as well. There's not still a month until over a month to any Champions League action.
Month until the League Cup final. Month until they get back to Champions League action. FA Cup's in 2 weeks' time, so maybe that'd be the difference. But right now United would fancy themselves. But yeah, actually, I think Chelsea, some players in Chelsea need to realise.
Flick on there from James looking for Nuskin. Can't quite find her. And Veek runs it out of play.
There's so much at stake here for Chelsea this season. I think it's just about realising it. Even fans, I think a lot of fans forget that Chelsea are still in 3 competitions this season.
Access, do you think one player is better this season compared to last? That's Sonia's task. Well, it's difficult to say with a lot of people because, how do you judge German last season? She played, a couple games, but she's obviously better. Walsh, huge step up this season, I think. But yeah, I don't think loads of players have been massively better. Ball now on the edge of the box, chance for Chelsea, and there's the goal. And while the first 38 minutes haven't been vintage, the corner spills out to Kira Walsh and she slaps it home. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. Hasn't been perfect, but that is an important goal, and Sonia Bompastor celebrates.
Yeah, much needed for Chelsea, and I think that is a massive weight off the shoulders of the players, of the people on the bench, and something to celebrate for the fans. It's a well-worked routine. It goes into the front post. Carnery gets the flick on, falls out to Walsh, who's alone on the penalty spot, strikes it well, takes a nick. Cock gets a touch on it as well, and probably would have liked to do better. Got her leg down to it, but just flicks up off her shin and in.
It's a good finish. It drives power. It's a good corner routine. Lots of presence at the front post. It spills out to Walsh, who, it's a really good shot, rifles it home. And for all of Tottenham's dominance, Chelsea have had more shots on target in this first half than Tottenham.
Yeah, it stops the rut, and it's massive for Chelsea. They've got to kick on now, because it hasn't been brilliant in the first 30 minutes, but it hasn't been bad.
A small tweak, though, and they've looked 10 times better.
Yeah, last 10 minutes have been much better. Lauren James has been picking up the ball, playing nicer stuff. Even winning, things like winning more corners in the last. They shut their signs that the play is improving because they're getting high up the pitch and they're in positions where they're forcing defenders to turn it away. But yeah, much better from Chelsea. It's the first time they've led across their last 2 or 3 fixtures. It's a big goal.
Yeah. Absolutely. Germa now into Carpenter, knocks it down the line to Carnereid. And that's blocked. That cross. Holt now played in behind. Germa will hold her up. And there she has left the field of play, and much to her frustration, it looked very close. I didn't think she had gone, but...
That was given quite late. I think she's unlucky. Yeah, and Martin Ho isn't happy either. But yeah, but Chelsea have got to kick on now. Chelsea have got to push on. Don't get comfortable. I don't think it would get comfortable in this position at all. But I think that, it's about kick on, keep moving the ball at pace, get another one before the half, go into half-time in a nice position.
Walsh into Bright, who slips it in behind. Thompson now has apparently just wandered into an offside position there.
Yeah, difficult one to judge with where she came from, but probably just about right.
Unfortunately, the BBC do not have replays, so we will never know. We'll find out at half-time whether that was offside. Oh, that's the left-hand side. Tidy touch inside from Amanda Nilden, slipping it in behind. Naomi Germa will get there without much difficulty. Chelsea look like a weight is off their shoulders.
Yeah.
They've played with a lot more freedom in the 30 seconds since they scored.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, it's to return to a winning position after 2 losses, it just feels nicer.
Berman brought down there. Battles away for it. Referee not inclined to give a foul. Ball in behind, and Hampton off the line to collect.
Yeah, good from Hampton, because that could have ended up just England's movement caught Germa off guard. And again, that's exactly what experienced strikers like Beth England are going to do to you. They're going to be sharp. They're going to keep you on your toes. But Hampton does well.
Germa then in this right centre-back role. Hampton cross to Bright. Now Berman. Here's Bright. Tottenham pressing up higher. Good turn in there from Millie Bright. Now, though, she's in a bit of trouble. Does play it down the line, and Thompson holds it up well. Pass back into James, who's just playing wherever she wants to play, and that is a lovely switch into Carnery, whose touch isn't great, but she can make it work. Now Carpenter. I think James and Nusken are swapped. Nusken's playing up front. Carpenter into Nusken, tries to touch it back out wide. That's not great, though, from Sioka Nusken. And camera cuts to Sam Kerr at the perfect moment there.
Yeah.
Nusken wins it back. Carnery now pokes it across to Thompson, who lays it to Lauren James. And that strike, not the quality you'd expect from Lauren James.
Yeah, had to be better from James. Needed to keep that one down. And for all that good work in this first half, that shot was quite wide of the mark. Blacksad claims she was fouled there by Cuff, but absolutely not. Nothing in it. Carnery does well to poke it to Thompson. He does the smart thing to lay it off to Lauren James, who, just need to get over it. Lashed at it a little bit.
Yeah. Lauren James still doesn't look 100%. Hasn't this season at all. Ball floated forward from Kopp. Walsh wins the header. One back in there by Hunt, and it's given as a Tottenham free kick. So I'm a little surprised about.
Yeah, I think it was Nuskin coming back in and just got caught the wrong side of Summonen. But Tottenham won't be too disappointed. You know, they've played some decent stuff in this game. You know, they've looked okay. They've had some chances. Probably should have been more clinical in front of goal and should have hit the target a bit more. But on the whole, they've played okay. They've pressed Chelsea well, and you know the goal coming from a corner. Tottenham won't be too frustrated. They've fought well in this game, but Chelsea are just starting to move the ball that little bit better now.
Yeah, indeed. Here's James twisting and turning away through the Tottenham team, and that's Nuskin who holds it up back towards Lauren James. Lovely football. James takes aim and just gets under that one again. Seen to be nudged well by Koga. That's really important. But James, it's a lovely give and go. Much more what we expect from James. The shot, though, could have been a lot better. Should have been a lot better.
Again, I think it's a story across the last couple of games. The footwork and the play is absolutely brilliant, but it's just that final finish.
A minute of additional time in this first half then. Kopp into Hunt. Back across to Amanda Nilden. Bright can't win the header. Blackstad, though, loses out to Walsh. Brilliant stuff from Kira Walsh. It's brought down. Goes back now to Carpenter.
No one there. Millie Bright came a long way to lose that header.
That's the problem. If Bright comes and wins it, it's fine. But he misses it, it's trouble. Walsh. James now. Lovely lifted ball out to the right-hand side. Carnareed knocks it into Carpenter, who would have played across the box. Good defending from Blackstad, who gets back in there to block the delivery. Corner now for Chelsea.
Yeah, important that Tottenham get into half-time at only a goal down and don't allow Chelsea to capitalise from yet another corner. But the Blues are really starting to pick up at a bit of pace as this half ends.
So, Chelsea now, they've already scored from one corner. Cuthbert over this one again. And it's Carpenter, I think, on the edge of the box this time. Ball in towards the front post. Bounces through. Can anyone turn it? Goal was Thompson. It's blocked wide. Should be another corner. I'm not sure who that took the last touch off of. I think that is the half-time whistle, though. And at the break, it's Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. Kira Walsh's low-driven effort. The only goal of that first 45. Just trying to see it. Would it come off Carnareed? So it would have been a goal kick anyway. But that is half-time. As I say, Kira Walsh, the only goal of that first half. Chelsea started slow, but started to get into their groove towards the end of the first half. It's Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, an important half for the Blues. They're ahead, which is important. It's much needed. A well-taken effort by Walsh. But a game between two sides that I think kind of both had their moments, but Chelsea finding the only ones finding the back of the net. Tottenham started the better side. Chelsea was slow to get going, and the setup wasn't quite right. Tottenham will be disappointed that they didn't get going in the they got going, but I thought in front of goal they struggled a little bit. And they didn't take advantage of when Chelsea weren't playing well, but the Blues, they made that shift, changed things a little bit, and it just opened up the game more. They played much better football and really started to have a bit of control in the game and play some nice stuff. Tottenham will be annoyed they didn't take advantage, but Chelsea just got better and better and better as the game went on, and on the whole, towards the end of the half there, looked pretty good.
Yeah, indeed. I think Chelsea started abysmally. I think the build-up structure was way too aggressive, trying to push Berman high, push the midfield high, and push Carpenter high. What we saw them switch to was Berman, and it wasn't necessarily a situational back three all the time, and more of an asymmetrical situational back three. But I think we saw Chelsea look a lot better once they moved to a three-back in possession. Endudozu saying, I don't like this 3-5-2. It's not a 3-5-2 off the ball. So, Yeah, I think it's one of those where Chelsea. This is the problem as well. I've seen so many people complain that Chelsea have used a three back the last 2 weeks, or that today was a new
Mm.
formation. What Chelsea used a four back last week. The problem is, I think what Bompastor wants to do now is move back towards what worked last season, right?
Yeah.
The problem is you don't have Bronze to play in that right back
Mm.
position, and so you've got Carpenter, and Carpenter can't tuck in, so she's got to attack. And so now what they're trying to do is have Berman as the left back tucking in, and you basically just do what they did last season, where they had the left back would push high, right back tucks in, right wing holds width, and that's how you create your width then. And then you have the two midfield players. They're trying to do that again, but just flipping the sides. And yeah, Chelsea look a lot better today than they have in recent weeks. I think obviously there are differences. We're seeing a single pivot used with Kira Walsh. We're seeing the midfield. I think I really like the midfield composition today. They struggled early on, but as soon as you move Berman a little bit deeper, the ball progression worked a little bit nicer. I still have concerns of how easy it is to play through at times. But actually, once Nuska moved up front and James dropped in, weirdly that worked a little bit better because Chelsea had someone stretching the back line. I mean, there wasn't as much pressure, wasn't as much congestion in midfield.
Yeah.
And you had James who was floating, and that dragged Tottenham players out a little bit more. So it looks like Chelsea are going in the right direction. If Nuskan's playing up front, would you not bring on Kurd to play that role? Potentially that's something that will be looked at. But I think that first half was an hour was really difficult. Once Chelsea got the goal, or just before the goal, I think they made the shift, and the goal came, and then after that they've started to play a lot better. So if Chelsea can kick on from that, this could be a very decent win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing is, of course, it's important to recognise that Chelsea didn't start very well. It wasn't the initial reaction that people were expecting, but it did get better from Chelsea as the half went on. And as you say, I think that goal was a big boost, and there just seemed to be a shift. Not only obviously, there were tweaks tactically, but it was also the mental shift of that goal going in. Just seemed to uplift everybody. Or uplift makes it sound strange. It just everyone just seemed to then be playing it a lot quicker and a lot higher, and there's an intensity to Chelsea's play. Once that goal went in, they looked up for it. They looked like they wanted to be on the pitch and playing their football. Whereas at the start, it was still very laboured, very sloppy, and quite slow. But that goal, and Chelsea just seemed to kick on and really start moving the ball with a bit of pace, like we expect to see from top sides. They just started looking more complete again and just getting back to what we expect to see from Chelsea. Of course, it's still not perfect, but it's never going to be. Chelsea weren't going to turn up today and after losing 5-0 Man City, just wipe the floor with Tottenham, smash them for 6 and look like prime Chelsea again. That was never going to happen. But it is getting better and better for Chelsea, and it's one of those things that I think that they, Bompastor and the Blues will get back to where they want to be.
Yeah, I think with what I'd say is there are people in chat commenting, "Oh, Chelsea only 1-0 up." They look loads better, but I thought what we started to see was combination plays, which we haven't seen recently. There's some nice wide combinations between Connery and Carpenter, where that final ball wasn't quite there. There's a lovely combination in the central area, and that was what really caught my eye was James and Nuskan combining. And if you can finally get the best out of Lauren James, that's a fantastic. I think James is best in that sort of attacking midfield role, either in the left 10 or right 10. For me, slightly better in that left 10, but thrived in the right 10 for England at the Euros when she was injured through all of that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that combination is really nice. That goes in. James' shot from range goes in. It's a completely different half, isn't it? It's just that James isn't quite on it right now. But yeah, I think Chelsea looked a lot better as soon as they switched towards the back three in possession. They haven't looked anywhere near as open. Tottenham didn't really come forwards didn't really get in behind after the 30th minute. I'm trying to find when their last shot was. I think it was around the 33rd minute. Yuli Blackstad, that was a blocked shot, but they had loads of opportunities early on. Nothing particularly clear cut though. And then Chelsea started to play a lot better at the end of their half. And if they can carry that into the second half, make a couple of tweaks, bringing in Sam Kerr and the likes, I think Chelsea will be fine in the second 45.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it should just be a half where Chelsea get better and better. And Tottenham, I think, will be frustrated they didn't take advantage early. As you say, I thought they had some good chances in the opening stages. Olivia Holt hit the crossbar. Beth England missed from close range. And, of course, if they go in, it's a different game. But they didn't go in and Tottenham haven't really threatened from that point. So yeah, it's one of those where I think that I'm intrigued to see what reaction is from the home side, because they were playing well, but Chelsea did get back into it and get on top. And I think it's just another example of that Tottenham were playing well, and I don't think Tottenham's level has dropped. Tottenham have stayed at the same level. The difference is that Chelsea got better and better as the half went on, and if Chelsea keep playing like they did at the end of the half, then they will win this game by a couple of goals, and Tottenham won't really have a say. They might get a couple more chances on the break, but yeah, I think it's one of those where Chelsea will be happy with where they sit right now. Of course, Pitt will. Yeah, it is only a 1-goal lead, but it's a 1-goal lead against a Tottenham side who sit in fifth, who have played some really good stuff this year. And it's when you've just come off the back of 2 really tough losses, I think on the whole it's been a good reaction.
I think for the first time in history, Tottenham probably have the stronger bench there. Just looking through Chelsea's options, 2 goalkeepers in Peng and Spencer, Baltimore, Potter, Wrighton, Shooter and Kerr. There's not loads of players there. First team players for Chelsea to get involved. Obviously, a load of injuries in the camp right now. Neither of their other centre halves are fit. Bronze, Charles, both out injured at the moment. Injuries to a couple of attacking players. Obviously, Kerr still coming back from a long-term injury. Ramirez out injured at the moment. That is having an impact. It does bring into question the decision to let Jean-Francois leave without selling another midfielder, to loan out Micah Hamano without bringing anyone in. But I guess the idea is that Wrighton was playing in that 10 role. The problem Chelsea have got is that the squad has been designed for one formation. Now they're trying to move or change that. It's very difficult because they don't necessarily have the option. So no one in that back line could change today for anyone on the bench, because suddenly it looks very different, which is a problem. When we think about attacking areas, I think Chelsea would look stronger with Baltimore playing that left wing position than Thompson. I think when that left winger is supposed to hold the width, that's not really what Thompson's great at. I think Baltimore will be better in that sort of role. But and then obviously Kerr leading the line would be better than Shoka Nuskin for obvious reasons. But yeah, very weak bench for Chelsea today. Says Thompson seems wide and no one playing in the box. Someone needs to be in that half space, absolutely, because Thompson's holding the width. And the problem you've got at the moment is no one's really getting into that left half space, because you've got Nuskin occupying the area, Cuthbert sort of sticking to the right a little bit more, Walsh playing that deeper role. James has drifted in there, and we've seen James get on the ball quite a lot in that role. But if she drops deep and then she's looking to play it forwards, well, there's no one that's going to make that run in there.
Yeah. So
if you're dropping, if you're letting James drop deep to receive, then you do need someone like Nuskin to peel it off into there, or someone, or Cuthbert to come across, or Thompson to drive inside, but Thompson's holding your width. So it's difficult. It's not perfect. Chelsea don't have the perfect profiles for what they're trying to execute today necessarily, but they made it work in the first half, and they can kick on from what definitely started to work a lot better at the end of the first half. Then the second half could be very successful.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, as you say, they only need a couple of tweaks, and it will be there. Credit to Shoka Nuskin, by the way, because she's come in today, obviously not had many minutes, has struggled with injuries this season, but I thought she was playing pretty well, and then she had to swap with Lauren James, and she's back up front. It's been a while since I've seen Shoka Nuskin up front, but she's doing a decent job of it. Again, we know she's a very good presence, and as you say, it's that link up that's been really nice to see. But with Nuskin and James, and I think credit to Shoka Nuskin, because I think I feel like Chelsea fans either adore her and think that she should start every single minute, or some fans don't realise her importance. But I think on the whole, she is a big part of this Chelsea side, big part of the Bompastor squad.
I think she's a very good player. And a very well-rounded player. I just don't think she's elite at anything. And I think the problem is when you're trying to play a very heavy possession-based style, and she's not as strong a passer as some of your other midfield options, it's difficult to just put her in there over Cuthbert. Yeah. She's suited to a transitional style of play, and that's why she was brilliant under Emma Hayes, playing in that sort of transitional role. But yeah, I think not a player who has been improved by Bompastor coming in and playing a very different system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it'll be intriguing. I'm intrigued to see what's next for Nuskin. Of course, there's always reports and rumours, but I think she can still offer something to Chelsea.
I think she offers a nice option. I think for a game like today, where you're looking for a slightly different midfield three, I think she's perfect. And I think if we're looking later in this season at games like a potential match-up with Lyon, potential match-up with Arsenal, potential match-up with Barcelona in the Champions League, I think Nusken is the better option for those kind of games where you do need a bit of physicality in midfield, and Chelsea probably will go to a bit more of a transitional style of play, a little bit more defensive. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, I think Nusken still has a lot to offer to Chelsea. If ultimately though, Bompastor doesn't feel that she's the right fit, or when they're composing the squad in the summer, they don't feel she's the right fit. It is the time to cash in really this summer, in terms of getting that highest amount that they could. And if they can bring in a midfielder who is a better fit, who is a great option, I think that's the right move. But it's whether or not you can get that profile right now. So yeah, I'm not opposed to her staying. I'm not opposed to her going. I like her as a person. I think great character. I've liked her as a player, but I don't know. I don't have any strong feeling about whether she stays or goes this summer. I don't think she makes the team significantly worse. I don't think she makes the team significantly better. Yeah, very reliable. You know what you're going to get from Siokonuskin, but I feel her best day isn't as high as perhaps the midfielders, the rest of the midfielders in this squad.
Yeah. I think that. I suppose, but it's just Chelsea, working out where they sit, and obviously that's thing I think is a lot up in the air with Chelsea squad because they don't know where they're going to be next season. It's one of those where when you are playing well and you are flying, when Chelsea have been top by a mile, they can work out because they know they're going to be in the Champions League, they know they're going to win the league, they can work out what they need next season. But with the position they're in, are they going to be in the Champions League? Are they going to be in this competition? Who are they going to have left? Who's going to it's difficult to manage and judge what they're going to do. But I think that today is important. Get through today. Win the next 45 minutes. Walk off with 3 points from this match. You don't lose out on Arsenal. You don't lose out on United, and you pull a bit. You pull away from Tottenham, and that you jump back into third. So I think getting through the next 45 minutes is important for Chelsea. Tottenham, it's a difficult one because I think that. I think the way they're going about it isn't bad. I think they will keep sticking to what they're doing, Tottenham, and then just hope to stay in the game at 1-0 and then try and nick a goal later on and take a point away from today. I don't think they've played necessarily badly, Tottenham at all. I think they've played quite well. Holt has looked incredible. She always does. Tottenham could lose 6-0 and I still think Olivia Holt would play pretty well. But just a magical player. But they're the threats to Chelsea. Chelsea need to kill this off with a second goal because Tottenham have got the ability to peg one back at any point in this game. So, I think Chelsea will come out quickly and deal with it. But on the whole, I think that it's been a decent game. I think it will be a good half. It'll just be if Chelsea can't kill the game off, that's when Tottenham could creep back into it with the quality that they've got. But I don't expect Chelsea to have too many problems in the second half.
Yeah, Tottenham coming back out of the tunnel then, ready to start the second 45. SSS. I feel exactly that way about Captain. I think this is the big difference. I absolutely adore Vika Captain. I think she's a fantastic footballer. I think where a lot of people get frustrated with her, I think it's just a symptom of the fact that she's 19 years old. Her decision making probably isn't there. She still needs to grow and become a lot more physical. But again, that comes with age and that comes with time. I think everything about her technique, everything about her movement is so strong. She's excellent at linking the play in the final third. I think she'll be an absolutely crucial player for Chelsea in the future. And I hope that Chelsea continue to develop her because I think she's a fantastic footballer. And yeah, I mean, at the start of this season or the start of last season, I'd have probably said that I'd have Hermano over her. I still really like Micah Hermano, but I think Captain is a better footballer.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where the reason I think Captain is obviously under a lot of scrutiny, but also she plays loads of minutes for someone of her age. I think that it would be easier for her to embed and grow in more of a squad player role, but because Hermano was injured and then out of favour and then loaned out because of the omissions that Chelsea have had in forward areas this season, Captain has played a lot more minutes than I think Bompastor would have planned her to. So as I said, Nuskin was out injured, Walsh has had injuries, so I think Captain's played more minutes than she probably should have, and that's why maybe her weakness has been highlighted more because they're more minutes of a regular starter than of a 19-year-old who's still growing and adapting.
Change for Chelsea here, and that is Kira Walsh off, Lexi Potter on in her place. So Chelsea backing the youngster, potentially a knock then for Kira Walsh, or it may just be some trust in Lexi Potter. But either way, very interesting to see. I think Lexi Potter is a player who Chelsea evidently have a lot of faith in and thought they would have pushed harder for a midfielder near to the deadline. And Lexi Potter given a chance now in this game. So it's Chelsea to get us back underway. Lauren James from the middle knocks it back. We're underway for another 45 minutes of action here in the Women's Super League. Chelsea starting with the ball moving from right to left. Germer. Hampton now into Bright. Goes wide into Berman. Bright makes the movement. That pass isn't on though, and Berman's in trouble here. Beek puts her under pressure. Berman stands strong though and can't keep it in play. Yeah, the angle wasn't there for the Bright pass wide. Bright then tried to make a rush in midfield. Wasn't really going to work out. Nusken wins it back in there well. Berman. Now Bright steps up well. Nusken. Berman. From Tottenham wins it back. Here's England. Into Olivia Holt. One back well in there by Erin Cuthbert.
Doing much better.
Poor pass behind Carpenter.
Much better from Chelsea there to just suffocate Holt. She took the first touch and Cuthbert and Potter were immediately on her.
Yeah. Hunt under pressure there from James. Goes back to a goalkeeper. James now pressing with a bit more intensity. Goes into Hunt. Here is Nilden driving inside. James actually has been told to run.
Yeah.
In the second half. Either that or she's just come out the tunnel with some energy to burn. Koga. Inside to Gaupset. Carries it forwards well. Hannah Veek. Back towards Koga. Brilliant from Berman there. He makes the challenge. Stops the ball getting through to England. Veek. Surveying her options here from the throw-in on the near side. Goes into the feet of Wimberg. Berman stands her up. Flicked on really tidily by Matilda Wimberg, but it does bounce out of play. England unable to keep it on the pitch. So, yeah, no communication on whether that is an injury for Kira Walsh.
It's an
Hopefully
interesting
not
one.
a key part of this Chelsea team.
Yeah. But an big opportunity for Potter. 45 minutes, to really show what she's made of.
Germer carrying that ball forwards. And that is intercepted there as Hunt jumps up. And Hampton off her line quickly. Brilliant work from Hannah Hampton. But yeah, Germer just overplaying it there.
I'm not really sure why. She the sensible choices were on there to just pass it to teammates who were further up the pitch, but she kind of ran towards them and then lost the ball.
Yeah, was trying to, I think, bait the press a bit too aggressively. Throwing inside, picked off by Bright. Straight through into Lauren James. He hasn't really got an option to pass. Beats Hunt, though. Wants to take on Hannah Veek. Brilliant from James. Cuts it across. Koga steers it clear. That was brilliant, though, from Lauren James. Just unable to pick out a teammate with the final ball. Wide now to Carnery. Not great that from either Carpenter or Carnery. A too slow pass, and Carnery not on attacks.
Yeah. Again, good start to the second half from Chelsea. Lauren James looking dangerous once again. Too easy out from Tottenham, though. It was the pass from Bright that went all the way through the team to pick out Lauren James. They can't allow that to happen too often because James will take advantage. But Chelsea, again, they've started well here, moving the ball nicely. Looking to just control the game.
Germer. Back now to Hampton. Bright. Hampton into Germer. Knocks it wide. Tidy from Cuthbert, lifts it in behind Nusken, bearing in on goal, and that's saved well by Cop. Thompson now latches it home, and Chelsea extend their advantage. A nice move from Chelsea down the right-hand side. Cuthbert clipping it in behind. Chelsea move it quickly from back to front. And while Nusken was denied, Alyssa Thompson in the perfect position to lash it home for the Blues.
Really good from Chelsea. Another lovely move. Nusken, the first touch, her effort was absolutely brilliant. The run is superb. The finish wasn't quite what she wanted. Straight at Cop. But it falls really nicely for Thompson, who pounces, and that's exactly what you need to do in that situation. You're running onto a rebound, the goalkeeper isn't reset, so just keep it down, but put power behind it. Really well struck by Thompson. And Chelsea deservedly 2 ahead. What a start to this second half.
Yeah, Nuskin, I think, would want to do better with that strike, but with it resulting in a goal anyway, no complaints there. Chelsea, the team with 3 recognised strikers in their first team, currently thriving by playing none. Playing without a striker.
Maybe it's a new revelation for Shock and Nuskin. What I mean, to get the run.
Well, it's a 4-2-4, it looks like, for Chelsea at the moment, with 2 attacking midfielders. Like one drops and one pushes into that strike position, but neither James or Nuskin are strikers.
Yeah.
But they're getting that opportunity to burst in, and it's difficult for the Tottenham centre-backs because what do you do?
Yeah.
Do you push up when they're dropping into attacking midfield? Do you drop off and let them get the ball? It makes it very difficult at the moment for the centre-backs to know what to do. And I mean, short of the midfield dropping, which is what we're seeing, the midfielders having to drop a little bit deeper, it's hard to know what to do. That's brilliant from James, who drops in to receive the ball, carries it out to the middle of the pitch, out to the right-hand side to Carpenter, who tries there to fashion a cross, but it ends up more of a shot and a save from Lisa Kopp. James there, fantastic. Carpenter should have done better with the ball.
Yeah, Chelsea got the bit between their teeth once again. Lauren James is running the show. And it's one of those where I don't think Tottenham are doing too much wrong. I look at that second goal again. Nuskin nearly catching Tottenham out in the press there. Kopp plays it to Summerlin. Nuskin intercepts the pass, but it runs out for a goal kick. Again, that intensity is back from Chelsea. This is brilliant. Just hounding Tottenham down. Superb work from Nuskin. Yeah, I don't think Tottenham are doing too much wrong. I look at that second goal and it's a brilliant switch to the play. Someone should probably follow Nuskin better. Again, it's a decent save from Kopp. Maybe she should have parried it elsewhere and not, parried it straight into the path of Thompson. But I don't think Tottenham did too much wrong defensively for that goal.
Indeed. Potter unable to keep that in place. So it's out for a Tottenham throw-in. But yeah, I'm enjoying watching Chelsea play, which is the first time I think I can say that since we didn't watch Liverpool in the Savoy League Cup.
Yeah.
Here is Koga. There's a fluidity about the attack, and I think that's really important. Here's Bright, wins it back well. I think this is what Chelsea wanted to do, but the problem is you've got 3 strikers at the club. And so what they tried to at the start of this season was facilitate it by having a striker in the box and this fluidity happening behind it.
Yeah.
With none of the strikers really fit to play, though, Chelsea are playing a system where there is a lot of fluidity. We saw against West Ham a very fluid attack without a recognised striker.
Yeah.
Here is Bright. Now Berman carries it past Wimberg brilliantly. And Berman here going on a drive, knocks it wide now to Thompson. That's slightly overhit. Thompson will get there though. Veek stands her up. Back now to Berman, inside to Lauren James. Tidy footwork, and she just absolutely flies past. Gap set ball in, headed away. Well, just gliding on the football pitch is Lauren James. England to Wimberg, back inside. Here is Sinyag outset. Under pressure there from Nuskin. Drops in midfield now for Cuthbert. And that pass a little bit sloppy. And Bright will have to go back now and collect it.
This is just everything that Chelsea have missed over the last couple of fixtures. There's pace to the game. There's an intensity without the ball. There's freedom. The decision making is decent. It's just all round come together for Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it and not question what happens when the 3 strikers are all wanting to play.
Yeah.
Lauren James can't quite hold on to the ball in there. Summerlin goes back to Veek. And now Kopp. Into Hunt. Chelsea not pressing too aggressively now. Holt. Back across into Toko Koga. Now Hunt. Goes back to a goalkeeper Kopp.
Yeah, Tottenham are doing well here to just react and not let themselves get,
England drops to receive. It's picked up in there, but it does fall back to Hunt. There is a foul in there. Billy Berman deems to kick out Beth England.
But Tottenham are doing well to not let themselves just get, beaten well hit. Yeah, they're still getting on the ball, still playing some decent stuff. They're just, they've reacted when they're not dropping their head, so they're still getting the ball down. And the main principles of their game are there.
Koga. Into Hunt. Bimberg. Great tackle from Nusken. And now it's Carnereid, who wants to take on Nilden. Forward pass isn't on. Back heel from Carnereid into the runner Carpenter. Doesn't quite come off either. So it's Tottenham throw in on the far side. Bjorn Buchanan, Aggie, Neve, Myra and Kat Makara all still injured. Yeah, lots of injuries for Chelsea at the moment. Lauren James battling away for possession with Koga and ends up forcing it out of play. Referee does give a free kick. You can sense Chelsea starting to frustrate Tottenham as well. Reaction there from Koga is that she didn't have an option.
Yeah. They're feeling a little bit because they probably know that this was their chance to really show everyone that they are in the top 3 race. I think that with Chelsea struggling, this felt if this was the opportunity to get some points over them, to leapfrog them, more importantly, and show that they've got what it takes. But this, if they are to lose this game, it just probably puts them back a little bit off the rest of off the 4 sides above them.
Yeah, I mean, it's less this result and more some of the other results they've had. It wasn't too long ago they lost to Liverpool. Nusken wins it back. I think that's January, wasn't it? Plays it on to Carpenter. Here come Chelsea. Carpenter driving it forwards. Goutset tries to bring her down. Shrugged off well by Carpenter, who needs some support now. Knocks it back to Germer. Into James, who's splitting the centre halves at the moment. Bright. Nusken. Now Cuthbert. Berman. Can Chelsea penetrate? Cuthbert. Lauren James. Cross to Germer. Bright. Berman finds Cuthbert. Nusken. Can't quite play that pass through. Here's Bright. Germer. James. Nusken. Barreled over there by Hunt, and that is a free kick to Chelsea. Also, I think Makara's about to wants to leave ITIS. But yeah, I found this weird. I mean, she put like a post on Instagram of her next to the Emma Hayes thing outside Stamford Bridge, which in itself isn't bad, but it's a weird thing to do like the same day as Bompastor's contract renewal is announced. I don't know. I found it weird how Chelsea fans have sided Makara over the manager when Makara has been offered a contract, rejected it, has quite vocally been pushing for a move away in the media. I mean, it's an odd decision to then decide that she's in the right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Makara has never really adjusted to life at Chelsea. Ball into the box, headed away by Koga. I'm not too worried about her leaving. She missed so many chances in the first half of this season. I don't think she fits the league particularly well. And I think it's quite clear she wants to go to the NWSL. Here's James. Fashions across into the box. Not a great delivery though. Koga gets it clear. Bright now. Brings it down well on the chest. Nusken flicks it on. Looking to get James in behind. England tracks the run. James wants to take her on. Tries to shift inside. England muscling her off the ball. And now Berman. Carpenter. Carrying it forwards. Now Carnereid. Ready for her to go. Yo says, Johanna been ineffective. I think Carnereid has struggled in this game. The problem you've got is that you've now got, and I think this will probably point towards Chelsea moving away from using a right winger next season, but you've got Carpenter who wants to overlap with Carnereid who wants to play wide, and you've just got 2 players doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Last season, Bronze sat deeper and Carnereid held the width. And on the left-hand side, Wrighton really struggled because she likes to hold the width.
Yeah.
So instead a left winger was used who would come inside and Baltimore could then overlap. What you've now got is the same on the right-hand side. And I think it's probably points towards Carnegie moving on. If Chelsea are going to use this formation more with Carpenter overlapping, you'd want someone on the right wing who's going to come into the half space.
Yeah.
Jostle on the right-hand side. Carnegie comes away with the ball. Good opportunity here. Has Carpenter to her right. Will take aim herself. It deflects wide. Probably better options there for Joanna Carnegie. But goes for goal and it's blocked wide.
Yeah, she wanted the goal, didn't she? Had the options left and right, but went alone. It's not a bad strike. But takes the deflection and goes wide. I think she wanted to get on the score sheet there. Not a bad effort, but yeah, as you say, had better options and probably should have used them. But yeah, Chelsea, another corner, another chance to threaten and to increase their lead to 3.
And it's Erin Cuthbert over this. Thompson comes short, ball in towards the front post. It's cleared away to Lauren James, who plays it into Potter, chooses the safe option of going back to Carpenter. Now James into Bright. Someone nudging into James there, not sure why. Thompson to Cuthbert. Ball driven towards the edge of the box, and Koga comes away with it. Potter into Carnegie now, takes aim, and that's blocked. And Koga gets it back to Nilden, who gets the ball clear. And Carpenter able to pick up on the ball. Hampton. Here's Bright. Hampton happy to wait on the ball. Chelsea, the distancing is becoming an issue again.
Yeah.
But Tottenham not quite as high up now. Germer. Carnegie. Carpenter. Lovely give and go. Carnegie released down the right-hand side. Hunt and Nilden double up, though, and Hunt knocking it out of play. That's a Chelsea throw-in high up the pitch.
Brilliant from Hunt. Really good turn of pace. Gets there before Carpenter and makes a difference.
Change now for Chelsea, and that is going to be the end of the afternoon for Lauren James. A player who it still feels like she's always coming back from injury. So bringing her off now, I think, is a sensible option.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Chelsea are comfortable in this game. No need for Lauren James to play another unnecessary 30 minutes.
And on in her place is Sondi Baltimore. So this opens some questions about what's going to happen now. Presumably Thompson up front, but more to the left.
You'd think so, but you never know.
You don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lauren James looking closer to her best self.
Yeah.
Carpenter. Germer. Still not quite there, which I think speaks more about how incredible she is. Berman. Baltimore. Good control. Brought down there by Wimberg. And now Tottenham will play forwards. England, great hold up. Loca says Hunter's turned her career around. Yeah, it turns out she wasn't the problem last season.
Yeah.
I mean, they had lots of problems. One of them was the man in the dugout. He's gone. Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
The other, I mean, yeah, the fact that all they've had to do in the first half of the season was change one centre-back and they looked much better. Like, their team wasn't ridiculously different. The only changes they made were Tamberg and Koga. The second half of the season, obviously, now you've got, like, Blackstad and, to be fair, Nilden starts today. You've got Veep who's come in and is playing that right-back role. You've got Gaups at midfield. But the start of the season, Hunt came, alongside Koga, alongside someone who could cover her, alongside someone who would allow Hunt to be quite aggressive. Yeah, they've looked much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gaups trying to carry the ball forwards. Now England. I wonder as well if she could be. I think she still plays for Australia, doesn't she? Even while she was struggling last season. So that does benefit Australia that she's in good form. Double change coming for Tottenham. That's Artinen and Tamberg. Tinker Tamberg, who's had a spell on the sidelines, maybe set to return now.
Yeah, we saw Tamberg get on against West Ham, didn't we? But I thought that maybe she'd come in to start this game, but apparently not.
You always want Beth England, your captain
True.
and ex-Chelsea player,
True.
for Chelsea games, don't you? Then Gunny Williams coming on as well. So Tottenham using the fact they're behind in this game to shuffle the pack a little bit. Artinen comes in. She'll drop into the base of midfield alongside Summonen. Presumably, we will see then Gaupset pushed higher up the field. Wimberg making way. And Beth England departs as well. So that will be Lena Gunning-Williams to the left wing. Gaupset pushed into attacking midfield. And Tamberg up front.
Yes.
Will work out. I mean, Gaupset, Holt, and Gunning-Williams will be in these sort of support attacking roles. It looks like, Gunning-Williams gone to the left. Gaupset's come out to the right. Holt stays in the 10 then. Carpenter down the line. Carnery gives it back to her. Nice work. Carpenter felt she was pulled back there, and it is a free kick as Gunning-Williams just pulling her back with her first involvement.
Took her 10 seconds.
Potter. Here's Bright. Episode says Berman looking much better today. Yeah, I didn't think Berman was too bad against City. I didn't think she was the problem. I don't think she's a left back, but where in this role where it is functioning, where she functions as a centre back for most of the game, I think it's fine. Where she was pushing higher at the start, I think she struggled a little. Baltimore can't beat Veek. And that's how to play for a throw.
Yeah, I think Baltimore needs a good spell. Again, I had a really poor 2 games, but could do a good cameo here.
Cuthbert. Now Germer. Wide into Carnereed. Carpenter overlaps. Carnereed goes wide anyway. And that's blocked well by Nilden, who then punches the ball away from Carnereed as she's on the floor. And that's what Carnereed is furious about. And the liner, I think, is giving it the other way. But Nilden slips here. And then as Carnereed gets back up, she just punches it away.
I'm not really sure how she got away with that one. Just swats the ball away.
And Carnereed then gives it to Gunning-Williams, and Carnereed can't get there. It's a Tottenham free kick. No, cheers to Chelsea free kick. Okay, good call.
Good spot, everybody.
If BBC didn't use camera angles that were just people's faces, we might be able to actually see what's going on.
Luckily, you can't get away in Darcel just swatting the ball away.
Gutting. Free kick now in a very decent area for Chelsea. Can they put some pressure on the goal? Cuthbert dinks it in there, headed away. Baltimore scuffs it. Nuska now. Germer turns it goalward. Saved by Lisa Karp. Chelsea unable there to supply the finishing touch on that one.
How is that one not in the back of the net? Baltimore made a mess of it. Fell nicely to Nuska, who just decided to kick it directly at Naomi Germer.
And she couldn't quite turn it goalwards. Anyway, Tottenham now building out to the left-hand side. Interesting to see Chelsea's pressing structure today. It's been very, very different to anything I've seen. They're not pressing particularly aggressively. They're letting certain players hold the ball and forcing them to overplay. Germer clears it forwards. One back in there by Artinen. It's quite passive while being high. It's not like often you see if it's passive at possession shape, teams drop off a little bit and they give territory away.
Yeah.
If it's aggressive, you're looking to win the ball back. But you go high. It's high and passive. I mean, Tottenham played through it early on, but it has started to work a little better later. What it does is it makes it very difficult to play into your 6 because you've always got someone on her. Now, when they drop into a double pivot, it's still quite difficult because you've got the 2 strikers, but the centre halves are given a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
Carpenter. Back now to Hampton. Here's Bright. Carries the ball forward. And now to Berman. But it is compact, and what we're seeing early on, it was just balls were going through the middle. Now Chelsea are forcing it wide with this pressing structure. Berman into Nusken, whose touch isn't great. Matilda Nilden in line then to come on. I believe that would also be her debut. So I think Martin Hoder's using this game, which at this point feels a bit dead rubber. I mean, it shouldn't for Tottenham, but Chelsea have been more commanding in the second half. They do have that cushion. And Tottenham just using it to hand out a few debuts and give some young players an opportunity. Baltimore, which they wouldn't be able to do if it's a tight game against someone close to them in the table.
Yeah.
For Ho and for Tottenham, I don't think Champions League football, as aspirational as it was ever realistically on the cards.
No.
These kind of games aren't going to matter for them as long as they beat their Villas and their Everton the next two, and then beat London City and Brighton their last two. Games against the top four don't matter as much.
Yeah, they'll be eyeing up the FA Cup as well, I think, mate.
And they've still taken. They took a point from Arsenal, a point from United.
Yeah.
Because both those sides were very uninteresting when they played. Well, sorry, the Arsenal was very uninteresting. Man United were awful in the first half and then pulled it together. The outset, straight down the tunnel, Matilda Nilden on in her place.
Perhaps they got places to be?
Don't know, potentially. Ball through the lines there from Nuskova hit, and it's been given as a Chelsea free kick as no advantage was gained. Tambay too aggressive. Free kick now for Chelsea. Cuthbert. I mean, it's quite obvious to go past that one backwards. Berman dummied it about three times there, waiting for the referee. Germer now into Hampton. Back to Germer. Carpenter. Finds Naomi Germer. Hampton looking to hit a long pass, nothing on. Germer can go right down the line into Carneries, into Carpenter now. Cuthbert. Tidy stuff from Aaron Cuthbert. Slips it in behind. That's a great ball. Here's Carneries. Options in the box. It runs through to Baltimore, and that's great defending from Hannah Veek. Gets in front of her, uses her strength to shield the ball back to Kopp. And this is a great ball from Aaron Cuthbert, showing that passing range. Carneries probably didn't need to put this one in the air, but it fell to the feet of Baltimore, who almost found a route to goal. Here's Gunning Williams as Tottenham come forwards and headed over by Tamberg. And Tottenham moved from back to front very quickly there. We didn't even see it.
Lovely move. Catching Chelsea out, catching Chelsea high. And Tottenham will feel like they should have scored. Holt, of course, at the centre of it. It was a good ball in from Gunning Williams, and Tamberg just runs onto it, probably with a bit too much pace.
Yeah, she just almost looks like she's backing out of the header as she heads it.
Yeah. She didn't have control of that situation. The ball hit her head rather than her heading the ball.
Nuskin. Berman. Here is Sondi Baltimore. Koga on her back. Baltimore wants to square her up. Plays inside now to Potter. Berman. Here's Bright. Switching the play towards Carneries. Can't quite keep hold of that. What's going to be really interesting about Chelsea next season is if we do see so many players move on, I mean, there's still going to be leaders in the squad, but it's going to be an incredibly young team.
Yeah.
I mean, even just looking at it today, Thompson leading the line, James in there, 21 and 24 respectively, I think.
Sounds about right.
You've got, Thompson 21, James 24, nailed that. Yeah, you've got Berman 19, Germer 23, Potter 19, all in the side today. And if you're looking at, 30-odd-year-old Bright, potentially 30-odd-year-old Bronze. She's had a few injury concerns of late. Chance now for Chelsea. Thompson almost latches on that ball. Hunt does enough to get it away. But it is going to be an incredibly young team. The question then would be, are they ready to win a title?
Yeah.
But I definitely think Chelsea are building in the right direction. And I think this summer is an important one in terms of the direction Chelsea are taking, whether it is the right one. But I think if they nail the recruitment, they'll put themselves in a position to either win the title or start the next sort of dynasty. I don't think they'll have anywhere near the success that Emma Hayes' Chelsea did.
No.
Because they outspent everyone and they were able to dominate the league in that manner. And to cultivate a group like that where you win 6 titles in a row is ridiculous. And I think the WSL with the investment coming in is becoming much more competitive at the top end. But I do think we'll see Chelsea build something incredibly strong. Pass inside now to Thompson. Nuscombe. The problem that WSL's going to have is where it's kind of bottlenecking. Where does everyone go? Baltimore takes aim and it's blocked, and Koga gets it away. Because United are building something very exciting. City are building something very exciting. Arsenal have started building, and next season that you think they'll start building further. Definitely building for the future. But where do all these great teams go? Someone in there has got to fail. 3 teams in there every season.
Yeah.
They've theoretically got to fail. If success is measured in just titles, then which it's football, then 3 teams every season have got to fail. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's different in when you think about the Prem, because there's 20 teams. As long as you're in the top 4 every season, and you win silverware here and there, it's fairly successful. I mean, obviously fans will get annoyed if you're in the top 4 for too many years without winning anything. We're seeing that with Arsenal. So then they've had 15 phases of Arteta, and they may finally now win a title. But success is more difficult in a 12-team league, or next year 14, where only 3 spots get Champions League football, and only 1 team is ultimately successful. Really,
yeah, that's the thing. I think it will improve as the Champions League gets expanded and as the WSL gets expanded, because obviously you can't really have. You need the WSL to get bigger before you can get.
Brought in Evan Thompson, trying to create room for the shot. Hunt does well to get back in there.
But you need. I think you will open up more Champions League spots eventually. But it's good that it's going to 14 teams, because you couldn't imagine you had another Champions League spot now. That'd be a third of the league getting Champions League football. It'd be. But to think that this season 2 of the top 5 are going to have to miss out, and you look at those teams. Obviously, Tottenham might fall away as the season goes on, as we get closer to the crunch period. But 2 top teams are going to miss out.
In that sense, the problem for the WSL is that the other leagues aren't growing.
Yeah.
The WSL can keep growing incredibly quickly, and will quickly establish it already has. It already is the most lucrative. Brian, I think the NWSL's got a stronger TV rights deal because it's sold to 15 different broadcasters. Every game's on a different channel, I think. But that might be the NFL. That's just a very American thing, isn't it? But the WSL is as quickly establishing itself as the biggest European league, at least, and the most lucrative European league, and none of the others are following suit. So the difficulty for the WSL is that the Champions League can't expand until those other leagues are ready for it to. You couldn't have a 4th team in Spain. You couldn't have a 4th team in the Premier League. You couldn't have a 4th team in, the Bundesliga could manage it. Serie A, though, 1 team in there is enough usually. And Roma, who would dominate that league, were terrible in the Champions League. So, the level is going up so quickly that the WSL is just flying past every other league. Substitution here for Tottenham, Hannah Vick leaving the field. Not a bad debut for her. I thought she showed a physicality that she can compete in the Premier League. In the WSL, sorry. Substituted on in her place is Aria Dennis. And a double change here for Chelsea. It's going to be Nuscombe off for Guro Wrighton. So this will be interesting. I presume it's just some sort of central role. And then Alyssa Thompson makes way. And Sam Kerr on to lead the line. So what can Chelsea do? Can they add to the tally in the last few minutes, make this look a little bit more convincing than it perhaps has been?
Yeah, I think they'd like a couple more, but overall it's just about seeing the result. They've done the hard part. They've played well today.
Yeah.
A couple of good goals. Now it's just about getting the result through. No silly mistakes. Tottenham still got some top quality players on there.
Yeah, second half outside the Tamberg header that probably should have gone in. Tottenham haven't had a shot.
Oh no.
Chelsea have been really strong this second half and probably should have kicked on. That wasn't nice for Millie Bright there. Tamberg just being physical, pushing her to the edge of the pitch, and she will be booked for this. That was unnecessary for Katinka Tamberg.
Yeah, just challenging for the ball, but it just felt like
nothing serious here for Bright.
She's never really going to get there.
Just gets caught there on the ankle. It's Tamberg. That is, just a very strong tackle. No real reason is booked for it.
First yellow card of the game. It's taken its time, 79 minutes, but it hasn't been that kind of game. It's been 2, good sides. Not neither side want to play scrappy, slow football. They both want to get the ball down, want to keep it flowing, want to play.
Yeah, it's two good teams.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the history says Chelsea should never lose to Tottenham, but this is a very different Tottenham side. And I think the fact that Chelsea, outside of that Tamberg effort in the second half and a couple scares early in the game, have been fairly in control for most of the game since about the 30th minute. I think it's been a much improved performance. Header away from Nilden. Here's Gunning Williams. Does well to get away from Carpenter. Carney getting back in now as well, though. Ball down the line to Nilden. Germer intercepts the pass inside. Cuthbert into Wrighton, who wants to switch the play. Aria Dennis gets a touch, but it will find its way to Sondy Baltimore. It's a little isolated. Does play it forward to Wrighton, and that's poor from Guro. Can't quite find the pass forwards. Here's Tamberg. Ball through to Holtz. Bearing in on goal. Should score. Straight to Hampton. Big save, but Chelsea undone there. They committed players forward. A poor pass from Wrighton. And a cut move. Tottenham moved it quickly and exposed Chelsea.
Yeah. Again, really nice move from Tottenham. Just showing the quality they do have, and someone of Holt's ability should have expected a better strike than that. She's had some good efforts today. That one, though, had to be better. Really good play from Tamberg. Played her through, and Holt's got to do better there.
A goal there changes this last 9 minutes.
Absolutely.
But too central that, and Bright is really struggling now. This is a problem. Chelsea have one centre-back. If Bright is injured. I mean, they can play Germer and Berman there, but they don't have a left-back to play this system. I mean, it's unlucky when injuries target one position. 3, if Bright is injured here, which it doesn't look great, 3 injuries to centre halves. Yeah. And Bronze out as well, who's probably the other, who's been playing centre back at times this season. So I'll watch back through those goals from Chelsea. And Bright, I think, will stumble off here. And this is a problem. Chelsea do not have the squad depth right now, and Chloe Sarwi will be coming on at left back. Berman will tuck in then to centre back, and some tactical notes there given to Chloe Sarwi because this is a very specific role she's got to play in this Chelsea system. But going into a busy schedule for Chelsea, they've only got I think 2 more games of football before the international break, but it's Liverpool at home and Manchester United in the FA Cup. Very big games. Chelsea currently are looking at 2 fit centre-backs.
Yeah, not ideal at all for Chelsea. But this game turning into a game of opportunities for players on both sides. Chelsea, we saw Potter come on at half-time, and now we're seeing Chloe Sarwi come on for Tottenham. They've already brought in, we've seen Matilda Nilden get her debut. Hannah Veek started for the first time. We're seeing opportunities being handed out by both sides here. Chelsea's a bit more forced.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I think, as long as it's not injuries for Walsh and Bright, because Chelsea are bare bones as it is.
Yeah.
3 senior substitutes, outfield substitutes today is absurd. Baltimore wants to take on Dennis. Back to Sarwi. Forward pass into Wrighton. What can she make happen here? Guro Wrighton shifts it to Carnereid, who cuts inside. Carnereid takes aim, blocked well by Nilden.
Really good recovery that from Nilden. Initially slipped over, got back up and got the tackle in to block Carnereid's effort.
Hampton now into Cuthbert. Berman flicked on there by Baltimore. Too ambitious, really. And so back with Toko Koga. 6 minutes to play in this game. Chelsea would like to get another goal to confirm the 3 points. But the more important thing is not conceding one. Koga. Back into Lisa Kopp. Now Hunt. Plays it into Evelina Summonen. Hunt. Lifting it forwards. Headed away well by Germa. And now Holt, who brings it down. Shift it into Artinen, who's under pressure here. Cuthbert forcing Tottenham back. Now it's with Lisa Kopp. Hunt. Great pressure in there from Carnereed, and the ball played through from Brighton. Everyone stopped, and I think that's what gave it for the referee.
Yeah, Chelsea didn't really,
There was nothing really wrong with the challenge, but everyone stopped, made it look like a foul.
Yeah.
Here is Kopp.
Chelsea just did enough. They're just seeing this through, understandably. Just want to get the 3 points and a clean sheet. Very valuable at this stage of the season. And it just stops any kind of fear of any bad run developing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 3 points clean sheet would be nice. It would be nice to see some more goals, but yeah, I think the clean sheets are. Well, I'd rather this be a 2-0 win than a 4-1.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Carpenter. Good control in there from Carnereed. Now Simonen. Gunning Williams. Lifts it in there. Holt tries to get there. Bounces through to Hannah Hampton. And now Sarwi. Carries down the left-hand side. Baltimore. Dennis tries to stand her up. Baltimore wants to take her on. Can't quite get around her there, Sunday Baltimore.
Yeah. Not quite. Just what did Bolt again? Suddenly Baltimore could do a good cameo. Should have liked to just blast past Dennis there and get in.
Simonen. Switching the play. It's Gunning Williams on side there. It seems she is. Plays it inside to Nilden, who gives away possession. And Potter now under pressure. Gunning Williams wins it back. Takes aim from range, and that's saved well by Hannah Hampton.
Yeah. Again, Gunning Williams has looked pretty sharp. Has looked dangerous in the foot race versus Carpenter, and again wins the ball off Potter. That shot is a bit too central, but again looks bright. And Tottenham, and another shot. They'll feel like they should have scored in this game.
Gunning Williams one of those who, you look at all the talent coming in around her from Scandinavia and the likes, and Tottenham building a really exciting young team. But I don't think she's one that should be forgotten. I think there's an immense amount of potential there. It'd be great to see her realise it at Tottenham, but it may be that she'll look for a move away in search of game time. But I think Tottenham will see that potential and invest in it. I think. Berman back now to Hampton. Germa. Back to Hannah Hampton. Looking for a forward ball. Lifting out towards the left-hand side. Sarwi now chests it down. Arthur knocking it out of play. Throw in now for Chelsea. Sarwi. Throws it down the line. Baltimore gets around Aria Dennis. Dennis does brilliantly there. It was a foul though. Pulling her back a little bit. It looked like Baltimore had wraggled away from her. And a yellow card for Aria Dennis as well. She's not happy about that one at all.
Yeah, it's a foul.
She's holding her shirt the whole way, I think. And the problem is we've reached the point now where yellow cards come out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what frustrates me. So we hadn't seen one until Tamberg caught Bright, and then that's if Gunning Williams, if that happened 20 minutes ago, that wouldn't have been given a yellow card.
And yeah, that's another young, hungry player for Tottenham.
Yeah, the future's bright for this Tottenham side. I don't think there'll be any fears that they will be right up the sharp end.
Absolutely. I mean, to put it into perspective, they have 5 losses at this point in the season. If they lose this game, which there is a minute left. if they would have to lose, ball into the box now, punched away well, Baltimore, and that is claimed well, and Holt will look to drive forwards. They'd have to lose every game for the rest of this season to have as many losses as they did last year.
Wow. What an improvement.
And they'd still be on more points than they were last season.
I've been intrigued to compare Ho this season to Villa Harm 2 years ago. That's the interesting one for me.
Going into additional time now. Kerr touches on the Carpenter. 5 minutes of additional time. Ball across the box. And Goga gets it out of play. Well, Tottenham scored 31 points in Villa Harm's debut season. They are on 26 with 7 to go.
They should beat that as well.
They should, and they'll probably end up finishing lower than they
did.
And Robert Villaharm, to be fair, no, they were 6th in the end. Forget that season was mad with Manchester United 5th and Liverpool 4th.
I think after today's results, they won't. They should easily claim that 5th place. Villa losing, London City losing, Brighton losing.
Well, they're only 7 points above London City, but yeah, that is a decent gap in this league. Baltimore rolls past Holt, ball in. Isn't perfect. Sarwi will look to keep it alive now. The back post. Artanen closing her down. Sarwi goes back into Guro Wrighton, who plays it to Carpenter, who goes across to Potter, and just allowing Chelsea to take their shape again now. Hampton. It's Carpenter. Berman. Goes down the line to Sarwi. Touches inside to Wrighton. Knocks it in behind. Baltimore might get there. Hunt does well. Gets there in front of Sondy Baltimore. And hooking the ball well clear. That'll bounce through to Carpenter, who's just slotted into centre-back and hasn't managed to get away from it yet. Berman. Carpenter. Back to Hampton. Now Berman. Finally, Carpenter can get back into right back. Naomi Germer. Back now to Hannah Hampton. Berman lifting it forwards. I thought no one had said anything in chat for the last half an hour. My chat just didn't update. I've just gone out and in again and people have been saying things. Apologies for that. I thought everyone had just gone very quiet on us. But no. Tottenham now going towards the left-hand side. Holt carrying it forwards. Oh, Nilden, sorry. Now Leonard Gulling-Williams wants to take on Carpenter. Ball in. Claimed well by Germer, who clears it away. It's been an interesting conversation about Walsh.
Lovely.
How important she is. She's absolutely important. But yeah. Dennis. Back into Vimbo. Flicks around the corner. Koga. Plays it forwards into Tamberg. Holds it up well. Sarwi intercepts. And now here come Chelsea. Potter. Knocks it out towards the right-hand side. And Hunt heading down. Gunning-Williams spins. Exchanges nicely. Now to Nilden, back to Gunning-Williams. Slightly misplaced that. Artanen. Exchanges with Summonen. Looking here to spoil Chelsea's clean sheet. Artanen going back to Koga. Nice turn from Dennis. And Berman gets there. Now Potter. Berman again. Back into Hampton. And now Germer. Hampton. Just lifting it long. Flicked on by Kerr. And Carnereed is getting in here. Gets around Nilden. Carnereed in on goal. Must score. Rounds the keeper and makes a mess of it. Just got to just shoot there. She just takes too long. Nilden puts her off. She tries to go around the keeper. Overplays again. Joanna Ritting, Carnereed.
Another great chance. Lovely ball from Hampton. Flicked on by Kurt. And the burst of pace to get away from Nilden's good. and yet just messes around with it and allows Kopp to get back in.
Just got to shoot. It's always been a problem for Carnarate. Contributions, end product. And I think a player who, while has had some fantastic moments in a Chelsea shirt, I don't think her moving on would be the end of the world. I think there are better options for Chelsea, better fits, and that is the full-time whistle. Not vintage Chelsea, it has to be said, but 3 points on the board, a victory nonetheless, an important 3 points in this point in the season. While she's on the bench, by the way, with what looks like wet hair, so I think she's been for a shower rather than having an injury. But yeah, I think Chelsea started slow. It wasn't perfect. I think Bompastor tried to implement too many different things at once. A simple tweak though of Berman tucking in to be a little bit deeper just freed everyone else to play a little bit freer, and I think Chelsea were much better from there. Goals didn't come ultimately, and they still gave up some big opportunities, but with the amount of rotation and forced rotation through injuries, it was a result that Chelsea really needed. 3 points Chelsea really needed, and hopefully it can be the catalyst for more in this season.
Yeah, a big win for Chelsea, an important one. Just stops any kind of run or rot building, and against a good Tottenham side who, to give them their credit, if they're taking their chances, this could have been a very, very different game, but Chelsea just did enough to see themselves through, and yeah, a big 3 points. But all round a good game. Tottenham will be disappointed. They'll feel like they should at least found the score sheet once in this game. Holt had some big opportunities. Tamberg when she came on. Beth England early doors as well. Tottenham they gave Chelsea a good game, but important that the Blues, they bounced back. They recovered themselves after a tough couple of weeks, and that is a big win. I think you can tell, the players' reaction, Bompastor's reaction, the coaching, everyone is happy with that. That's a big win for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be back with loads of action across this week. Tomorrow night, join us for our weekend roundup from 5 o'clock. Tuesday night, one of the only nights this week we're not live, because Wednesday and Thursday, join us for Champions League knockout playoff round action. Arsenal versus OH Leuven on Wednesday, alongside, I believe, it is Real Madrid Paris FC in that evening. Thursday is then Wolfsburg versus Juventus and Manchester United versus Atletico Madrid. So loads to look out for throughout this midweek. Friday night, we're back with more WSL action. Saturday's a day off, and next Sunday, join us for yet more live WSL action. Lots to look out for then across this week. That, though, is everything from us today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.